Word 2013 Unit F, Illustrating Documents with Graphics. So now we're preparing a flyer advertising QST tours to Mexico. We can use the graphics features in Word to illustrate our flyer. Let's go ahead and get started. We are going to need some files for this one, so I guess that's what we can do first. I'm going to move this out of the way, and behind my screen here, I have Canvas. I need to find the file WDF-1. So I'm going to come down to my Files folder here, open up Data Files, and as I've mentioned before, I may not have, you have both the zipped version of your data files out here on Canvas, and you also have the individual file folder. So you can download all of the files at one time or get one file at a time. I think I'll just get one file. I'm looking for WDF. Oops, I don't need access. I got a little quick fingered there. Let's come down here and find Word. There we go, Word Unit F. And I'm looking for WDF-1. Instead of left-clicking, we left-click to select, we right-click or use the right mouse button to get our shortcut or context-sensitive menu. I'm going to right-click and choose to save that link as. Go to my desktop. And I have a folder I've been working on here. A few folders, actually. So let me prepare another set of folders to hold my material. And let me go ahead and get all of these files. There aren't many. I know I'll need some images at some point. So I'm going to go ahead and get both of these just in case. And I think that's it. So I'll move on to the next part of this assignment. I've been saving my very important documents to this folder. I'll go ahead and open up the document I need by double clicking it from the hard drive. Right now I'm in protected view, so I'm going to go ahead and click Enable Editing. And I can see that quite a bit has already been done with this file. First thing I want to do is give it a new name. So I'll go File and Save As. Pick my location. Instead of F-1, let me go ahead and name it. Could have kept the F, that's all right. Adventure, Mexico. The next thing we're asked to do is change the zoom level to 120%. Number of ways I can do that. For instance, I should have a zoom feature right down here on the lower left of my screen, and let me get rid of this add-in here. Let me also change my view. This is one place we can change the zoom as well. I want to see just one page. But I can go here, and this is one way of changing the zoom. For instance, I could type in 120%. But if you look on the lower right of your screen, there's another place where you can adjust the zoom. I'm going to go back to my Home tab and turn on my Show Hide feature in the paragraph group because I want to display my formatting marks. And the next thing we're going to do is just kind of look through the flyer to get a sense for the purpose of the flyer, its format, the contents. I can see right now, by the way, I have my ruler open and available. Don't forget, if you do not see a ruler, you can go to the View tab, and it's one of your options in the Show group. I'll go back to my Home tab. But thanks to the ruler, I can see that I have 3 columns because I see how the columns are separated on my ruler. I see we have different tours and different amounts, year-round departures, when is the best time to visit Mexico. Quite a bit of information here. Now as I read through this document, I'm reminded that there are a number of ways of moving around in my document. The most important way, now that I'm at the bottom of the document, I can hold down the Control key on my keyboard and hit Home and get back to the top. Or I can hold down Control again and hit end and get down to the bottom. Quick ways to move around. Control Home takes me to the very top and to the left. Notice right now my cursor is blinking to the left of Adventure Mexico. I'm going to go ahead and click the Insert tab. I'm ready to insert an image. I'm looking for my illustrations group and I'm going to click Pictures. So I now need to find where I stored my data files. And so I know that I stored them on the desktop and my 235 folder in Word Unit F. I'm looking for the boats JPEG. I've clicked Insert, and now notice where this sits, to the left of Adventures Mexico. Now this photo is inserted as an inline graphic at the location of my insertion point. Now when a graphic's selected, you should notice little white squares all around it, and these little squares are called the sizing handle, and they appear on the sides and the corners of the graphic. You also get a white rotate handle that appears at the very top. You see it here as I position my cursor there. And something else that you get if you're using at least Word 2013 or a newer version, you should get the Picture Tools Format tab above the ribbon. You see that over here? And we can use this tab to do a lot of things, to size, crop, position, wrap the text, or format our graphic. By the way, you can get some of those very same features if you simply, instead of left-clicking to select, if you use your right mouse button, you get some of the same features here in your shortcut menu. Or you can go to Format Picture and get some of the same features. Lots of different places to do the same thing. Now that we have this Picture Tools Format part of the ribbon available, let's go to the Picture Styles group and find Picture Effects. And notice there are lots of different effects we could pick. And if I position my mouse over an effect, I get a preview of what that effect looks like. So I'm looking, the one they suggest that we get is to go to Shadow. And they want us to click the Offset Diagonal Bottom. So if you position your mouse over any feature long enough, notice you get a little tip that says what it does. So here I have offset diagonal bottom left, here I have offset diagonal bottom right, and you can see all of my different choices. I'm going to choose offset diagonal bottom, oops, not that one. Don't want this one, yeah, offset diagonal bottom right. Works for me. Now back to that Picture Effects button, back to Shadow, and I'm going to come all the way down to my Shadow options. And we have some additional features that we can use to tweak. For instance, we can change the transparency, and really the only way you can see the effect of this is to play around with them. Make some big changes, small changes, and kind of see if you like the look. This is in learning how to use the feature. As a matter of fact, I won't be grading too harshly on these because I want you to try things out and see what happens to your file. And they actually tell us which change we want to make. They say change the distance up arrow 4 times until 7 points shows up. I'm going to just type it in there. Now the distance of the shadow from the picture is increased to 7 points when we do this. And you just kind of have to notice that when we adjust these settings in the format picture pane, that change is automatically and immediately applied to the document. Let's find something else while we're working on this. We have that selected. I'm going to get rid of this temporarily, that format picture pane. Find your Arrange group, and we're going to choose to wrap our text. I'll click the drop down. And notice all of the different options we have. Now, we're telling Microsoft Word how we want it to handle both the picture and the text, how they should coexist, basically. I'm going to choose Typed. Now, the text wraps around the sides of the graphic, making the graphic a floating object, which is exactly what we want to happen. We can also use the Layout Options button to change the text wrapping style that's applied to our graphic. A floating object is part of the drawing layer in a document, and once we do that, we can move it anywhere on the page, in front of text or behind text. So it's a really nice feature, this being able to wrap text. Now, what you should also notice is I have a little anchor here. You see that in the upper left corner? The anchor indicates that this floating graphic is anchored to the nearest paragraph, and in this case, the nearest paragraph is this Adventure Mexico paragraph, so that the graphic moves with the paragraph. The paragraph moves, so will the graphic. Now I'm going to go ahead and deselect my graphic, and I'll choose Save. And actually, don't want to click Save yet. Actually, I think I want to do File, Save As. I'm saving my files slightly differently than yours, so that I'll always have a clean one to go back to. So I'm going to save this one as Word F Adventure Mexico, but I'm going to attach Insert a Graphic. And we're going to move on to Size and Scale a Graphic. So I'm going to go ahead and really quickly tweak my name again. Remember, you don't have to do this. This is what I do in case I make a mistake and I want to back up for another version. Notice I still have my show hide on. This aggravates me sometimes. I'll go ahead and turn it off. I'll leave that to you a bit. We don't quite need to see it at the moment, but just so that we'll continue doing as the textbook suggests, I'll leave it on. Now, once we insert a graphic into a document, we can change its shape or size. We can use the mouse to drag a sizing handle. Don't forget, we have those little, if I click my picture, the little sizing handles pop up all around it. We can use the shape width and shape height text boxes in the size group on the Picture Tools Format tab if we need to specify an exact height, an exact width for the graphic. Or we can change the scale of the graphic using the Size tab in the Layout dialog box. Now, resizing a graphic with the mouse allows us to see how the image looks as we modify it, which is a really nice feature. We can use the text boxes in the Size group or the Size tab in the Layout dialog box, and this will help us if we have a precise measurement in mind that we want to use. Now, make sure that you go ahead and select your photo. I've selected mine. Feel free to double click it if you don't see Picture Tools Format pop up. And